Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we are going to discuss about the Chrysler TV8, a tank that I think should be a premium in World of Tanks Blitz regarding the future release of the M-V-yoh tank. But what is that thing? It's the first prototype of a nuclear-powered tank from the Americans, as you can see by the little uranium logo, or nuclear logo I should say, on the side of the turret. And even if it seems quite weird at first, I truly think that aesthetically talking and also based on its statistic, it would fit perfectly at either tier 8 or tier 9 into World of Tanks Blitz if Wargaming of course makes some changes to make it balanced into that game. Let's not lose too much time and jump directly into a game with it to see what it's capable of. Obviously, the main aspect of such a tank powered by nuclear motors means that you're gonna have a great mobility. It's gonna be quite hard to balance in this way, and I think it's the only problem that tank could have, because oh boy, nuclear powered mobility means you have one of the greatest accelerations out of all the tanks. Here I'm trying to simulate a tier 8 matchmaking using the Chrysler to see how it would perform at tier 8. Obviously, I'm not a tester, I'm not a developer, and I think that this is just bullshit, but at least it allows me to talk while playing. But basically, when you take a look at this tank, and the gun especially, it doesn't feel like something broken. I mean, if Wargaming really wanted to, they could balance it. Obviously, they'll have to light the armor on the turret, because at the moment, as it's quite round, it's either the turret is going to become impenetrable, or we try to make some adjustment to make it balanced and to be able to penetrate it. But here, Wargaming would have two options. The first one being choosing between a strongly armored tank and therefore not the best mobility, or a really good mobility but that doesn't feature any armor at all. I think the best option is the second one, as such a tank, if you're equipped with quite a strong armor, is going to be too powerful for the matchmaking, for the tier 8 matchmaking or even tier 9 matchmaking to be balanced. But there is always some balances that you could do in order for you to make the tank balanced. Now, one last thing I need to talk about before that video ends, before that replay ends, or I should say my live battle, because I'm playing live. It's probably that when you feature such a tank in your game, you have to take care of the gun depression. The main problem of such a tank, as you can see judging by the look of the turret, is that you really don't have that much gun depression, which can be a problematic in World of Tanks Blitz regarding how many battles and how many maps feature ridge lines, hills, etc. etc. So if Wargaming does that, they'll have to do it the right way by taking into consideration that such a tank will struggle on hilly terrains. Now let's talk a little bit about the statistic that tank has, at least in this game called Panzer Cry of War. Those are not statistics made by developers, so the tank did not get tested, etc. We have a lot of completely broken tanks in that game, but as you're playing against bots, it's not a problem. But I think it's quite interesting to see what abilities the guy that created the Chrysler TV8 for that game went with. Reload time 7.8 seconds, which can be something fine with 280 and not 70 alpha damage if we're talking about Blitz. For the penetration, I don't have anything to say, truly. And for the rest, yes, obviously an amazing mobility. The main problem of that tank in its current state when we take a look at the armor is how broken the turret is. Look at this, 215mm all the way around. To be fair, 215mm of armor is not that impressive, but once it's angled, because here it's 215 raw, not armored, not angled, sorry, it means that if you angle it such as it's the case right now on that tank, it's probably gonna have like 400mm of effective armor, which is way too much. For the rest of the tank, as I told you, you have the engine right there located in the back of the turret, and that's something specific to the Yoh tank, and the Chrysler being the first prototype of those Yoh tank, it has the exact same ability. It could be funny to see, but we're going to see that in the 8.0 update in Blitz. And I truly want to see what Wargaming will come up with when it comes to a premium featured on the M5 or M6-yoh line. I truly think and hope they will, because it's a challenge for them. And obviously, as developers, they should like challenges. So yeah, maybe we're going to be able to see one of those bad boys in the game one day. Who knows? Now the real question is, guys, how would you play such a tank in World of Tanks Blitz? And the answer is, it depends how it's implemented. It's totally logic, but let's imagine two hypotheses. The first one being, if that tank is implementing having a really bad armor and a really good mobility. So basically, wargaming tending to profit of that nuclear weaponry you have instead of your armor. Here, in that case, what you want to do, obviously, is to hide, to circle, and to use your mobility the traditional way. For example, here I'm able to circle a Progetto first because the guy is a bot, and a real bot, not just talking about someone being bad, it's a real bot, but also because you are nuclear powered, which implies that out of all the tanks in this game, you should have one of the best mobilities ever. I don't know if Wargaming will do something like that if they implement that tank one day, but if they do, they need to be careful about this. They really need to be careful about something like that because it would destroy the matchmaking quite easily. Just imagine something that can go from your spawn to the enemy spawn within the first 30 seconds of the game. I mean, we did not implement the EBR tanks for a reason, and we're not going to implement the Chrysler TV8 for the exact same reasons, or if they do, they need to be careful about what they're doing. And there we go, that's how we get things done. Oh, I didn't see that big boy here. No problem, circle thanks to our mobility, and we are gonna smoke his ass. He shot in the ground, maybe by rage. See, even the boats are raging in that game. How good is that? And we're just gonna have some fun and kill that poor fella. Come on. Yeah, still shooting, but it was useless. On the other hand, guys, if Wargaming intends to make it a bad tank when it comes to mobility, but a really well armored one, all you have to do is hold down like I'm doing right now. We derp the shit out of all our opponents. We only show or expose our turret, and as we are extremely rounded, it's going to be quite hard for them to go through. We still have that little machine gun on the top of the tank, but I don't feel like it's going to be problematic, or at least if it's implemented in World of Tanks Blitz, maybe you will not be able to use the machine gun, but maybe it's not going to count as part of armor of the tank because it's completely dislocated from the rest of the tank. Therefore, it shouldn't count as something penetrable that should destroy your hit points. But as always, we will see what Wargaming intends to do. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. I just wanted to take a look at what I think should be a premium tank Wargaming implements to let's say, goes with the rest of the M-V-yoh line that is being implemented. And yeah, that's it. Give me your opinion in the comments. I would be curious to know how many of you want that tank and how many of you are thinking this is just cursed and that we don't want to have such a beast in the game. See ya.